But I rewatched Edward Scissorhands.
Mish and Zach.
Now, I'll be honest here. We recorded a few in a cluster.
Okay.
Because I said Edward Scissorhands like 3 weeks ago. But I didn't. Did I do it as one listed?
No, I don't think you did a proper
No,
chat
because
about
I did
it.
Strange Days. I just passingly mentioned Edward Scissorhands in relation to Sinners on episode 3 weeks ago. But it is the last thing I watched.
Yep, okay.
And I realized that I said it and I was like, oh no, I was going to bring it. And I just feel like I need to be honest. We recorded these 2 episodes close
no, that's
together.
fair.
But I rewatched Edward Scissorhands. When was the last time you watched Edward Scissorhands?
10 years ago?
Did you see my review of it on Letterboxd?
I didn't read it, no.
Oh. No, it's a long one. I wanked on. My question to you is, do you think it would hold up?
It was never my favourite movie. I liked it, like, don't get me wrong. And I remember watching it when I was, like, younger. And then I remember I must have watched it again maybe in my late 20s, mid-20s maybe. But that's kind of it. And I remember being like, oh, this is good. Like,
It was probably the Tim Burton film.
who plays the Avon lady?
Diane.
Yeah, Diane, not Kruger.
Keaton.
No.
No. Diane Wiest.
Yes, I think she is incredible in it.
So, I think now this holds a very special place in my heart. This film, I watched it right at the right age. Right, I watched the last half hour of it on TV. This was before the internet, so I was like, I couldn't find it, and I remember going to my local video shop and being like, it's a drama because it's funny at the start, but it's only sad at the end. I was like, it's like a drama about a man with scissors for hands, and the guy behind the counter be like, I don't know, and then it was under comedy. In my local video store. It took me years, like ages. I finally found I watched the whole thing. I love this movie. But on the rewatch, in my opinion, holds up.
Oh, great.
Really, really, really good. There's a few things I loved about it. One, big thing I thought was everyone always talks about Tim Burton's gothic. You know, Tim Burton, when you hear Tim Burton, you think gothic, you think pale face, you think, Nosferatu's inspiration, German expressionist inspiration, you think James Whale. No one ever thinks about like mid-century Googie Americana, and so many of his movies have that aesthetic. Like the whole point of Edward Scissorhands is he lives up in this gothic castle, but everyone down at the bottom of the hill is like 1950s Googie. And that is the majority of the aesthetic of the film. And
That's
it's
true,
and
I do love that aesthetic.
He does it really, really well. And he does it he does it in Big Eyes. He does it a bit, right? So that jumped out to me. Diane Wiest is incredible.
Yeah.
A beautiful performance. The script is also really beautifully written. It's not written by Tim Burton. I think that's a great thing. So many movies now are like shit in the script, and you see it's like these auteurs write their little scripts, and it's like Tim Burton drew a picture of a cunt with scissors for hands, and then he got a good writer in to like make this beautiful story around it. Script is really clever. It's very much about, I think watching it, I was expecting it to be about like very emo, like identifying with what it is to be like a weird kid.
Yep.
I'm watching it. It feels thematically much more profound and much deeper. It's much more about like what it is to be, it's much more about bigger sort of societal prejudices. And it's this beautiful story about like Diane Wiest is like so kind and she tries to do an individual act of kindness, but the story is kind of like that one act of kindness from one person to another can't beat a whole society fetishizing and then throwing away.
Now I really want to watch it again. You have sold it.
Interesting.
You're very, very good.
And then I'll say one final thought, which is the dad. The dad in it is played by Alan Arkin.
Yep.
And it is, without question, the funniest portrayal of a middle-aged man that I have ever seen in my life. And
Really?
it's something that didn't jump out. I didn't even remember.
Man,
he
you've
was
made
in
me
it.
want to watch this movie again.
It is so funny. There's just a bit, like when you first meet him, it's like Edward's there. And I remember the visual gag of, you know, when you're a kid, that's what you find funny. But now that I'm older, he's there at the other end of the table. It's like, oh, it must have been hard living up there on that hill there. And then like at one point, he's like, because he starts snipping people's hair, the dad's just like, well, you're going to need to get a bank loan. Shit like this is middle-aged man telling his cunt with scissors.
I'm about to do Sydney Comedy Festival. So by the time this has come out, it's well and truly gone. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you.
But I'm literally about to go there, like tomorrow. And every night after my show, I go back to my Airbnb, which I really love. I stay at the same Airbnb every time. It's so cozy. It feels very homely to me. And I sit down and I watch a movie, and I order Thai food or something like
beautiful.
that. And I watch a movie. It's like my Sydney Comedy Festival like ritual now.
Yeah.
And I reckon that'll be one of the, because I'm there for 5 nights, it might be one of my 5.
Do you know where I watched it, funnily enough, was on the Virgin flight. I watched the first hour on the Virgin flight back from Sydney.
Yeah, see? There you go.
Yeah, it's a very flight movie vibes.